going back, Chris. We're going back to the future.
All right, you got it. You got there.
It wasn't very good. But regardless, that's the nice thing about having a podcast. It doesn't matter if it's very good. Welcome to How Do We Human? It's a podcast where we overanalyze all the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. I'm one of your hosts, Evan Cox.
I'm one of your hosts, Chris Binning.
I was trying to talk so fast, I ended up in the future.
Wow, fast.
And I did. And it was bleak. We're talking about the future today, obviously. What does that mean? Just you wait.
Okay.
Before we talk about that, we're gonna talk about this. Before we talk about that, we're gonna talk about Chris.
Hey.
Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I
God.
because I had been out of the country and then been sick, hadn't decorated the Christmas tree. I think we had put it up like right when we came back from Bali, but not decorated it because our work schedules didn't line up. And then my girlfriend went out of town and I was sick. And so the tree was just a naked tree up there. And so this will give you a little hint as to when we're recording this. But this weekend, she was back in town. I was feeling better. I was like, wow, what a perfect time to decorate the tree. And she woke up early to watch the World Cup. And she's watching the World Cup, and I'm like, do we want to decorate the tree? And she's like, but I'm watching the game.
Yeah.
I want to show you. This is unfortunately only going to be visual. Maybe this will be the clip we pull. Who knows?
Maybe.
There's the TV, right?
Got it.
And that's where the tree is. That is how close they are.
Yeah.
She was still like, nah, I can't do it. I'm watching the World Cup.
Wow.
Am I crazy for being like, why can't we just do it at the same time if they're right next to each other?
Yeah.
Her argument, to be fair, was the World Cup, that's not festive for Christmas. You decorate the tree, You gotta put Christmas music on.
It's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
I get that. I see both sides of the argument.
Okay.
I don't want any part of your fight.
Come on!
I'm not taking sides here.
Ah!
No, it's a good argument. You'd have to turn the audio down on the World Cup, which would not be a popular choice.
Right.
Put some Christmas music on. Or what if every time the World Cup comes around, if it's happening, I don't know how they schedule it, if it's always around Christmas or what.
I think it's supposed to be in the summer, but the country that bought the right to have it this year is a miserable nightmare in the summer.
There you go.
Just ask the workers who built the stadium in the summer, the ones that are still alive.
If football now, if you're watching, only if you're watching. Unfortunately, this feature doesn't count for people that aren't watching it. You can choose different, like you can listen to the commentators, or you can listen to these commentators, or Peyton and Eli Manning doing whatever they do.
Manning cast.
There needs to be a Christmas broadcast for it, where there's just people like, well, let's not forget, Joe, it's Christmas. It's Christmas time, and I don't know.
Who
Lead
are
into
like the
Little Drummer Boy.
big Christmas personalities in our culture? I guess like
I mean, there's
Mariah
Santa.
Carey, of course.
Mariah comes before Santa.
Yeah. Mariah's ready for Christmas, like much earlier than Santa is, I think.
All right.
Michael Bublé.
Oh,
Should our
for sure, the Bubble
commentators be
Man.
Mariah Carey and Michael Bublé?
Bubble Man himself.
Oh yeah.
Bubble Boy. I can't think of any other celebs you'd associate with Christmas. Jim Carrey, the Grinch himself.
Sure. I don't associate Jim Carrey with Christmas.
I exclusively associate Jim Carrey with Christmas.
Evan,
Ha!
how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm kind of what you mentioned your tree.
Yes.
And now I kind of want to talk about mine because it's right there. And it's in the same state. California. No.
California.
So here's the situation. Normally, I'm not gotta decorate for Christmas, gotta Christmas it up the second Thanksgiving's over. That's normally not me. But
Sure.
I do like to decorate earlier in December because I like the feeling of nice Christmas lights. It's a little warmth in your soul that Santa's gonna come. And a little black boots and a little black belt and a big red suit all made out of felt. It's the big guy coming with the big white beard. You don't have to be afeared. It's Santa! Santa! That's your man. I hope Spotify doesn't take us down for that. For my new Christmas single. Anyways, I don't even know how I started singing. I'm in the future. I don't know what just happened. I was a little bit late.
What if you could only get to the future by singing?
Oh, that'd be great. Maybe that's
how
future's
you time travel.
Secret.
And then when you're in the future and you got to go back, you of course do. If I could turn back time.
What if, new movie idea.
Okay.
Strictly the reason that musical artists have Future on as a guest is because that's the only way to get to the future.
You have to collaborate with him.
Gotta collaborate with him. As this mad scientist that's like, I can send you to the future. There's just one caveat. My cousin, he's a rapper. He's really trying to get his name out there. Let's say future. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. I was a little bit late to getting my tree up this year. And by tree, I mean my little fake tree. I've got about a half size fake tree. Store it in the closet, store it under my bed. Who gives a fuck? I'll store it anywhere I want. It's not against the law. I finally, Friday, I want to say, this past Friday, I set it up, which is not even really late. What's late about it, I guess, is the fact that I'm leaving. So I'm driving to Washington this Saturday. So by last Friday, that's me going, I think it's worth it. I'll have a week with the Christmas lights up. And then it'll also be there when I get back. And that always feels kind of nice. Worth it. I'll put the tree up. So I put up the tree and I had to get the lights down. All of that is, I've got this like high up cabinet that goes back away. So I have to get out a little step ladder and get way back there and move shit around. I set it up terribly. Which makes sense to do that. I put the Christmas stuff at the back because I'm only going to need it at the end of the year. There's all this other stuff. But then once it comes time, it's like, fuck, everything's in the way. So I got to move everything. I get it all out. And I don't just like get the lights out, put the lights up. I bring the lights out. I got some more lights. I bring those out. And I get all the ornaments. I get everything out. Everything's set by the tree, ready to go. So I can do this. I get the World Cup on the TV. I'm ready to go. And I wrap the lights around that tree and I plug it in, and the lights don't work. And I remembered, oh yeah, none of these lights work. I was like, maybe, you never know. Sometimes time passes. Time is good for Christmas lights. Maybe it healed itself. And
right, they had time to charge.
and no, it did not work. None of the lights worked. So now that was like the end of the night. So I'm like, well, I'm not going out tonight to get Christmas lights. And the weekend came and went, and I still didn't get Christmas lights. So now it's Monday. Do I want to spend money to buy Christmas lights? Like, I would have to do that tomorrow. I don't have time right now. So that would be a Tuesday through Friday. Is that worth it? 10, 15 bucks, whatever lights cost now. It's a small tree.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice when the tree has lights on it.
Yeah.
That's, but you also mentioned last episode you're very broke right now.
I am. It got worse.
Like, do we?
And we recorded these episodes back to back. It got worse in between recordings.
Yeah. That's why you kept looking at your phone and going, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I am just now remembering this episode comes out after Christmas.
It sure does.
I don't know if we're not supposed to be talking about this anymore.
It comes out on the 26th.
Yeah, it's way too late, though. It's time to move on.
Yeah.
Santa's dead.
Think about it as an investment, because those lights that you buy, they'll work next year.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. I did take out a strand of lights and I plugged them in and I was like, oh, they work. And then I went to put them up and then half the strand burned out. So didn't work so well.
Well, that's the other thing is I think all of my, most lights now to avoid fires are LED lights. But the non-LED lights, it used to be if one bulb burns out, then it fucks up the whole, whatever you call it. Strand the power flow, whatever. It's completely messed up, and you just need to replace the bulb. Put a new bulb in that one that's busted. You get a bulb tester. I don't know if that is the case anymore. So I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, I guess I could do that and test the bulbs, but I kind of feel like, that's not, I don't think that's how LEDs work. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
Who knows? Santa?
Who knows?
People from the future after the big lawsuit against Big Christmas comes down.
What are your thoughts about the future, Evan?
I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be exclusively great.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I'm a big sci-fi fan, and pretty much all sci-fi agrees, hey, the future looks not good. And the more time passes, the more it feels like, I could see this going that way.
For sure. All sci-fi seems to agree that the future is bad if we do these certain things.
Yes.
And rich people in power are like, yeah, but what if I did those things?
Yeah. Well,
are you stupid?
What if we, ran AI so that it now can do whatever the fuck it wants? What if we were building robots? What if, say, one of the richest people in the world was in control of a major form of communication?
Yeah.
This all leads to excitement for the future. It's funny to me that here's an awkward point about the future, hitting it right on the old head. It is awkward being me. It always is.
That Kermit the Frog song.
But I'm like, I think I talked about this on the conspiracy theories episode we had, that I don't like being what's the word for it? Guy. I don't like being the guy. I don't want to be
like
that
being
guy.
the guy. What's the
paranoid.
word for it?
I don't like coming
Sure.
off as paranoid and being the guy talking about the singularity and the Skynet and shit like that. But it's like, that is 100% who I am. Like, I'm very, very concerned about the future. I'm an optimist, believe it or not, and I like to believe that everything will be fine. Humanity will be fine. People are good. People are good somewhere deep down, and we'll get through this together, and we'll build a bunch of robots that are good, and that's the end. Or at least that's where I die. Where I'm the first person whose head is torn off by a robot. Be an interesting way to go.
Yeah, I don't think that I want to be optimistic.
Yeah,
but I'm not about the future.
It's hard to be. It's a lot of work.
The closest to optimistic is just the idea that like, well, I need to do what I can to make my little corner of the universe not shitty.
Mhm.
Like that, I just gotta do that.
Yeah.
Because also, like, a lot of I don't know about robots and like the Skynet version of
of the future.
the future. I mean, I think there's something like that. I think it's my theory is more that the rich and powerful are going to get us all killed, probably through not taking care of the planet, but they'll all have like ships and or bunkers to survive it.
Yeah.
And the rest of us are just toast. And not a lot being done in the world to reassure me of that outcome.
Yeah. No, it's hard to find anything to be optimistic about when talking about the future. And maybe that's just getting older. I don't know. I'd be interested to talk to like my parents and think of when was the point when you lost faith in the future? Like, or is this new? Are things now like particularly not looking great? Or is it everyone around this time? This is the like pre midlife crisis as you hit the point where you're like, oh, this is all hopeless. Depression, maybe. But I did. It's, I don't know. I got stuck listening to a podcast, believe it or not, by this guy. I don't know. I wasn't planning on talking about this, so I don't know what I'm about to say. Let's see where it goes. His name's Lex Fridman. I was completely unfamiliar with this person, but his podcast has like almost 3 million subscribers. So he's a big fucking deal. It
is dangerous when you see a podcast has a lot of subscribers and you're like, I haven't heard of them. And then sometimes you listen and you're like, that's why I haven't heard of you.
Well, and it definitely was one of those when I looked through his videos, the majority of his guests were people like, Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, et cetera, et cetera.
No.
But the guy's a MIT AI person. That's what he works on. I checked it out because he had Rick Rubin on, and I love listening to Rick Rubin talk about music. And so it's weird watching the people like that. First off, that man's a terrible interviewer. I don't know. It's baffling that people listen to his podcast. But people like, I mean, I guess it makes sense because anything that's a thing will have fans of some sort, you know?
Sure.
But it's always baffling to me when people watch videos of like, check out this insane robot that's able to like walk around and completely do shit on its own. How fucking cool is that? And I'm like, I don't see how anyone can find that cool. I find that so fucking scary. Or the AI, the robots, the put human faces on them, and it can answer questions and shit. Like, I see nothing but terrible things in this.
Yeah, the like when the what is it, like the Boston Dynamics team, they'll always put out videos of the like new robot that they've designed, and there's like the robot dogs that open doors or whatever. There's the other robots that like can run and jump.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah. The unspoken. It can run and jump and chase and kill.
Yeah.
Oh no, accidental maiming. We didn't expect that to happen. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a pessimistic viewpoint because I like technology. I've always loved robots. I tried to build a robot myself. Like I was, if I were a little more intelligent as a child, I could be one of these people because I built a robot when I was a kid. Now my robot was made out of coffee cans that I intended to fill with oil and never got to that point. So I don't think I can quite put myself in the MIT bracket, but like my interests have always aligned with that. I should be so into it, and I'm so fucking terrified of it, and I just hate it. But I'd like to get to a point where I could feel optimistic about it. Like, yeah, I just can't. And the same with the self-driving cars. Hey, I love the idea of that. Like, if I don't have to drive, I can just sit in the back and get somewhere like it's a personal train. But I just can't help but think this is going to go terribly. This is all going to go bad.
And it already is kind of.
It is.
So, but luckily, the person that's in charge of those is also able to just delete footage and evidence of that happening on a major communication platform.
That is also true.
And then make and I say this word with like the thickest sarcastic air quotes, joke about his pronouns. Great.
Okay, so you've got fans. You control this communication area, and you've chosen like these are the villains in my viewpoint, and these are the heroes. Let's go.
Yeah, it's wild too because like he, if he would just like shut the fuck up and run his companies,
sure.
Like we would be like, yeah, I'm sure he's a bad guy, but like we don't know what he's like.
It doesn't affect me. It's whatever.
But he's so desperate for attention that like now we all know how terrible he is at everything except for having money.
Yeah, just having it. I didn't.
Another thing that makes me a little apprehensive about the future, sort of sticking with this same guy and many others of his ilk, is that it does feel like a lot of people in the world are kind of in agreement with us. I would say that we have, maybe not by a lot, but I think that we have the general majority opinion of like things are bad and they are going to get worse unless we do something.
Yeah.
But the only people who know how to mobilize and enact their plans are the people with the opposite viewpoint.
Yeah.
And so I think that due to our inability to plan and or play dirty and or incompetence and or let's talk about Andor. That was not in the future because that was in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched it.
It's pretty good. And you know why I like it? Is because it's about a bunch of people rising up against terrible regimes. Anyway, but the fact that we can't seem to make any change, but the people with the opposite viewpoint of us can
Yeah.
make changes
Sure can.
and make them for the worse.
Yeah.
Give us more things to not like.
Yeah. That's not the I didn't I don't know why I didn't, even while as I wrote my notes that all kind of fall into this category. I wasn't expecting this to be. I'm going to call this doom potting.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for this, but yeah, I don't feel good about the future at all. Oh no. Yeah. But like similar to what I was saying with being Mr. The Singularity is coming. It's like it doesn't feel good. Like no one likes this person in a group conversation. You're at a party talking about how bleak the future is. It's
Right.
It's an awkward position to take. There's even a level of like I don't want to push you into answering any questions about this, but like there's for me a pretty decent chance I don't end up having kids. And I won't say that that's not a factor. I don't want to be, just because I like to be an original. I don't want to be saying the same thing everyone else says. Like, why would I bring a child into this world? It's so blah. But yes, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean that's level. I think that I feel like I will still have children, but that is the biggest like
consideration
argument I get. Yeah, consideration or concern, because like even more so, like everybody talks about babies are expensive, and so you think that like the financial concern would be the biggest hurdle, but no, it's like come on. we don't like being alive. Why do we want to curse someone else with that?
Yeah, I truly I think that is a world for optimism, and that's hey, I believe so. If you want to talk about the future, I personally believe the children are the future.
And you said you don't want to say things that other people have said.
No,
right?
I'm an original.
You're original, yeah.
Source it. She's dead. I got that. That's me now. I'm Whitney Houston now. I believe the children are future. I don't know the words. Take my hand and let's go see.
Take my hand and let's go see.
I want to keep in this vein for a second to keep us from fully doom potting about just sci-fi ideas
I'll bring us back.
of the world we live in.
Yeah.
Which is regular life, current life. Take the sci-fi out of it. That's I mean, not to just immediately dive back into it, but that is the weird thing. This is the weirdest time to be alive, and I've said it probably on a previous episode that like us millennial folk it's a weird fucking generation because we've had so much technological change in our lifetimes. And I think right now that is included in that we're living through this world where like we used to joke when the year 2001 came around, and it's like, wow, that movie was called 2001, and they thought we'd be like going to space and doing all this, getting sucked into black holes, turning into a baby, all that fun stuff, and it didn't happen. Or Back to the Future, we're supposed to have hoverboards, but we're now living in a time where it's like all that sci-fi shit 100% exists. Like it's all here. Yeah. It's just not commonplace. It's not everywhere. But we are living in a time where all that is real. If you had enough money, you could fully live. You could build your house like something from a sci-fi movie and have a robot butler and a best friend that's an AI.
Yeah.
Like that's
absolutely
normal. That's not what I was going to talk about. But that is weird. And I was just going to say going back to normal lives, ignoring the sci-fi aspects of daily life right now.
Mm-hmm.
I spend a lot of time, and I think it's probably time not well spent, worrying about how I will be perceived in the future. Future
You
me.
talking about your legacy,
My
or are you talking about
legacy!
like how like the youth will look upon 60-year-old Evan Cox?
100%.
What are we talking
And
about?
why are we so
Okay.
concerned about the youth? You know why? Because I believe the children are the future.
Yeah.
And I think they're not going to like me. And I find that concerning. Now, there's a level of like, and I think it kind of mixes in with, when you're college age kiddo and people have ideas about what they want to be in the future. Then you get a little older and you
Yeah.
kind of realize like, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm not
I guess
that.
I'm just going to be a big nothing.
I'm just gonna be kind of one of those people. You see them walking around. They go to the grocery store and shit. I'm gonna be one of those people, and I like me as much as it doesn't always sound like I do. I think I'm pretty cool. I think I'm funny. Obviously, I think I'm very funny. So there's that. But like, I don't know. Is there? It's hard for me to shake that college age kiddo ideal of an adult, of a successful adult, and be like, I think anything that like I consider this life a success. A wild success. And this is what it looks like. This is wild success. But like, it's not visible. It's not a like, no one could introduce me to someone and people would be like, wow. Good for him. That's impressive. And I don't know why I need to be impressive, but I spend a lot of time worried. I mean, I spend a lot of time thinking about how people think about me now, in the past, and in the future. And it's all wasted thought, but I can't stop it. Do you think about old man Chris?
A little bit. I mean, I think that in terms of to touch back quickly on the idea of having children,
Yes. The future.
I'm sure that every parent thinks this way, but like, I think that my kids would like me. And
Yeah.
I think that I'd be able to instill good values and make sure that their opinions are correct.
Yeah. Right.
Which I think would help. There are always going to be people who don't like you.
What?
But I think like I'm not super worried about. Let's get into it.
Let's
folks.
get in.
Let's get into the Doom Pod. Because I'm not as concerned about what the children who are our future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of other lyrics that can go after that. I believe the children are our future. Slap my ass and then let's ride. What I'm more concerned about is when I will pass on.
Sure.
Because of course my papa died younger than any of us would have thought.
Totally. Yeah. Totally. What a good answer. Response to that. Totally, bro.
Totally, dude.
And here I shut up for a little while.
Totally, bro. You said you're comfortable with silence, right?
Yep, gonna be for a little while here. Go on.
But and although what he had was not genetic, so there's no like guarantee that I would be particularly susceptible to it.
Yeah.
There's still that thought in the back of Jesus
fuck is wrong with me? Totally. Just totally, bro.
Totally, dude.
Dude, I'm with you.
Oh, fucking radical thoughts, bro.
I'm broken. But by totally, I mean, yes, I 100% understand. Oof. Totally. God. I'm now realizing that's like a big part of just my vernacular. I say totally a lot. And like when I was a kid, that felt like Ninja Turtle speak. That's like saying tubular.
Tubular.
But no, I totally understand. Yeah. That I mean, at the very least, any death in your life, your circle, makes you think.
Yeah.
Makes you start thinking about that more and more. You can say totally. It's okay. Totally.
Fucking radical.
Yeah. Tubular.
Yeah, cowabunga, bro.
And thank you for that. And cowabunga to you.
And many cowabungas to
cowabunga
you,
to you and yours this Christmas.
And also with you.
Not anymore, and with your spirit also.
And with your spirit. And cowabunga with your spirit.
And cowabunga with your spirit. Tubular. The Church of Leonardo. Wow. Anyways.
Wow. The Church of Master Splinter.
You were talking about your deceased father.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, what you said totally. With just that it makes you think of how you always envision yourself as like, oh, when I grow old.
Yes.
But none of us know.
I know
how much longer we have on the clock.
Yeah.
So I think that is my bigger thought of like how if I were to start a family, how long would I be there for? And am I just gonna say I gotta go get some milk and dip out of there? So I think that's the bigger thought, as opposed to whether or not the youth of the future will like me.
For the record, that was a couple of thoughts that got kind of mixed in. I wasn't necessarily talking about how the youth will think of me, but yeah, legacy. Sure. If I pass away, we have a funeral for old totally me.
Totally.
What are people gonna say? The
put it on the tombstone. God, totally.
Quote. End quote.
Quote. I believe the children are our future. Totally.
I believe the children are totally our future. But I, when you were saying that, it made me wonder, like, so that aside, that's how we're feeling right now. And I totally get that. But when you do think, there's a little thing about me, you think about yourself as an old person. That's your standard. You assume you'll get to older age. Do you curtail that at all the way I do, where I'm like, well, I have to be realistic. Let's not assume I'm going to be 90. Let's assume and like give yourself like a 78.
Sure, somewhere in the 70s, much like the temperature. I want to be somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah, my grandpa's turning 91. He's my last living grandparent, but he's turning 91 in 2 days. So,
happy birthday.
1 out of 4. I got some good genes going on. Maybe I'm gonna shot.
I don't know how old my grandparents are.
It's easier when there's just the one.
That's fair.
He turned 90
I had
last
4
year.
up until a couple weeks ago, and now we're at 3. But I don't know. I believe they are in their 80s. Maybe having just broken the cusp of 80.
Good
but
time.
That could be completely wrong, and I'd have no idea. So,
well,
who
we
knows?
brought your grandparents in to see how much you know about them.
Guess their age.
Come on,
hey,
Ethel
they
and
would
James.
be furious.
Not Ethel and James. I was wrong.
No. Do you want to guess my grandparents'
Guess those grandparents. I already did. Birdie.
Sure, but there are 4 total, so you know those first 2 guesses were incorrect. But I'll give you a total of 4 guesses since there were 4 grandparents.
Birdie, Donald, Cynthia, and Frank.
Incorrect across the board.
Hot damn. You want to take a shot at
We were
mine?
looking. Sure.
What were we looking for first, though? I gotta know.
We were looking for answers on the board.
Answers on the board.
Here we go.
All right.
Looking for Rich,
Close.
Karen, Barbara, and Ken.
Damn. Good grandparent names. I knew
Thanks.
you reminded me. I did know there was a Karen because we talked about that before.
It comes up every
It
now
comes
and
up in conversation.
Yeah.
right.
I'm gonna say.
So is that you get 6 guesses then? Because I got
6
my first
guesses?
2. 6
All right.
guesses. Shoot them out of cannon.
Joseph, or Joe. We'll go with Henry. We'll go with Charles. We're gonna go with Dottie. We're gonna go with Carol.
Okay.
And we're going to go with Marilyn.
Ooh, so close.
Oh!
So close at the beginning and at the end. But no,
Okay.
wrong across the board. But Joe, my aunt and my uncle, I might have mentioned them before. They're together. One's named Joe, one's named Joe. Joseph and Joanne.
Jojo.
My grandpa's name is James, Jim. And so that I was like, I've got an uncle named Joe. His name's Jim. Close enough.
Sure.
But my grandmother on my mother's side was named Mary Ann. You said Marilyn. You were so close.
Brutal.
But yeah, Jerry and Agnes.
Ooh,
Because
okay.
those went in a different order. That's opposite of the couples. It was
Yeah.
Jim and Aggie, and Jerry and Mary Ann.
All right. Those were also good grandparent names.
Thank you. Names an episode? Maybe we do an episode on names. 'Cause names.
It's been on
Have
our
we
Google Doc.
We floated it.
Yeah. It's been floated.
I think there's to quote an intelligent person. I think Scoober's got legs. Deep cuts. But yeah, it's just endlessly interesting to me how names change. Where it's like not a lot of people being named any of those things. Maybe Jim still. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, future. It's gonna be good.
Future.
gonna be
This
great.
is something that I this kind of goes back to
Indoor
you know,
plumbing.
is your
It's
life
gonna
a
be big.
success? MIT. My friend Nick, who maybe we'll have on the podcast, it's tough because he lives in Africa, and that time difference for recording with Los Angeles
Yeah.
is a little bit challenging.
All right,
But
Chris and Evan go to Africa. Here we come.
yeah, Chris and Evan, bless the rains. The Forbes 30 for 30 or 30 under
yeah.
30, not 30 for 30. 30
That's
under
ESPN's
30.
30 for 30.
Yeah.
I expect to have one of those too, and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Nobody cared
Um,
about me playing soccer as a child.
He was my friend Nick is in this current 2023 class
Damn.
of 30 under 30 in the they have like a bunch of different categories, so it's like there are a lot more than 30 people that are part of this. But
what are we doing here?
I
guess everybody gets a trophy.
But he's in the energy category
just for like
30 under 30. Woo! Oh, just like, yeah, just having a great vibe all around.
That's cool. Good job, Nick.
Totally.
Guys just got a good energy.
If, like, I feel like that would put a lot of pressure to then, like, have extra success. Or if you are a part of 30 under 30, are you like already like
did it?
You're already like set for life, bro, unless you commit a crime or something. And even then it's like negotiable.
Yeah. I was thinking that you could just kind of float by the rest of your life just being like, did you know? Just carrying that magazine around.
You could get like any job you wanted because you're in like Forbes 30 under 30.
Man. That
I'll have to ask him about it.
That's pretty cool.
See if that's how he feels.
Cool. But I know, it's a thing. I've known some people that really thought they should have been chosen. For 30 under 30. That was a weird point. I forget now. You're 29 now?
29.
You're still eligible.
So we gotta really do something spectacular here in
Windows tight.
The next month because
we do something spectacular
in January. That's
week.
When I turn 30.
Oh my god!
And then I'll have my. Did you, sir? Speaking of the future, 30 is supposed to be like the big scary milestone.
Oh sure.
Until 40, and then 40 is the next big one, and then 50, and so on. Each decade of birthday is supposed
scarier
to
than the last
horrify you. Yeah. Did you feel pretty spooked about turning 30?
I didn't. I'm happy to announce, even though I'm still wildly depressed. That aside, I haven't been. I've kind of felt like my life has pretty much gotten better every year. Like it's going well. I'm doing good, even if I'm sad.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
That's our next T-shirt, by the way. After I'm having fun, leave me alone. I'm doing good, even if I'm sad.
These are good shirts.
These are good shirts.
Make these. That's a good shirt. But no, I think it all for me falls under that same category of why I don't like watch cartoons and have fun. Because it's just always I genuinely like I got made fun of a couple of times as a kid by people who held some influence over me. They made fun of me for childish things, and I never turned back. I'm like, I will be a man. I will be a grown-ass man from this day forward. So turning 30 was exciting. Like, all right, no one's going to argue with me now. I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
Throw away the bottle. Are you freaking?
I don't know if I'm freaking, to be honest.
It's fucking terrifying.
I think that it's not so much that I'm scared to turn 30.
Yeah.
But it feels like 30 is supposed to be a big deal.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I want to do for my birthday.
Go to Vegas. It's a fun birthday.
This is true.
I'll drive.
We got to find out if the buffets are open first.
True, big deal. Birthday buffet. Get out of town. Let's do it.
But I think it's more like it feels like it's supposed to be a big deal. And then also there are just like the handful of things that like child me thought I would have done already. That I don't know if they're still important enough to me to try and get done in the next month.
Yeah.
Or if it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the big thing, and I've definitely felt a little bit of that. It's like your 20s are your place for your like I don't know, when you're very young, you give yourself like my 20s are when everything's gonna happen, and then you turn 30 and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, well, it didn't, and I'm
Right.
still alive, and I'm gonna be alive for a while. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Now what?
Totally.
So I get it.
I
I get the crises.
yeah. I feel like I had a bigger crisis like closer to 25
Yeah, I think I kind of
about
did too. Maybe that's the
about
new
all that
thing.
stuff. So yeah, 25 is the new
Yeah,
30.
because it's like, yeah, you did the college thing or whatever schooling you did.
Yeah.
That was the big one for me. Like I was still fucking 20, 21 when I got out of doing the film school thing and realized like it was a kind of a quick like day of graduation. I had a moment of like, I don't think I'm actually going to do any of that. And this was my whole plan.
Yeah.
This was the whole thing. And I kind of like half-assed, like, maybe I'll just do like freelance editing and shit and make wedding videos and stuff like that. And I just didn't. And that was a big fucking panic for the future right there. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a early little freak out about the future. Uh, it's all worked out. I don't know. Big part of life for me is this accepting. I get into my little Buddhist teachings and all that shaz, and realize that it's tough to accept. This is important in life. Everybody listening, I'm coming with some wisdom. You got to accept children of the future. Part A.
Part A. Yeah.
Part B is getting out of all this future thing. Future tripping, they call it. There's a need, a subconscious
Proceed.
need for people to like have expectations about the future and who they're going to be in the future. Literally everything we're talking about in this episode and what your life's going to be like in the future. Like there's a winning point where like at that point I've got all the money and I've surrounded myself with family and friends and everything's perfect forever, the end. And that's not, life will always feel exactly like it feels today. So get used
Yeah.
to it, sucker.
Suck it up and get used to it.
But no, you realize like the small joys in life are great and you can find them every fucking day and just accept that that's good enough. You'll hurt less if you're not having these expectations that once you get your life figured out, it's gonna fucking rock, bro. You're gonna be snowboarding every day. Totally.
Totally. The last thing I want to bring up, unless you have more, but
I have nothing more to say to
great.
you.
New Year's is coming up.
That's where this idea came from. A lot of talk about the future in New Year's.
A lot of people are like, this. I think we've talked about this before, but there are people who are like, this is gonna be my year. And it's every single time.
Yeah.
The same person that posts like 2019 is gonna be my year in like the end of December 2018. At the end of December 2019, they're like, well, 2019 wasn't my year, but 2020 is gonna be my year. And then 2021 is what I meant. Oh, no. 2022, that's when everything's coming together.
Yeah. It's I guess that kind of falls into the same idea of just having these expectations for yourself. But I'm like, I don't know. It's dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
New Year's is so dumb and doing it and going, oh, I came up with these things I'm going to do this year. But at the same time, is it a bad thing? Like, I guess having a calendar just gives us that little cycle of like, now I'm gonna try again.
Sure, it's like a
reset the
finality
batteries.
kind of mentality.
I think it falls in line with what I'm talking about with the thinking about yourself in the future. But like we just, for whatever reason, subconsciously, we're just kind of programmed to work on a cycle like that and go like, well, start of a new cycle. I'm gonna try to be a better person.
I will say that
I was just gonna say it's always like workout shit with me, and at a certain point, I'm like, I'm never gonna be working out all the time. I don't know.
I know, yeah.
Ain't in me.
That's one that comes up a lot for me too. At the end of 2021, right during our candy draft, when Wes perhaps prematurely announced on this podcast that we were making a movie,
Right.
something that I wouldn't have done, but that's not the point. But at the start of 2022, it was like we were out location scouting. And a couple months later, we were like doing a table read. We were putting together all the materials. And right now, like it at the time, it was like, oh, maybe 2022 actually like is my year.
Yeah.
And now we're stuck in development hell, and I haven't heard anything in weeks. So
yeah,
who knows? No.
It's I don't know. Expectations. It's a thing. It's especially when I was freelancing. Every big gig you get, like when I got that Animal Planet gig, it was just a PA job. But that feels like this is the one that launches everything. Here I go. Usually real life works slower than that. Unfortunately, for us dreamers out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is tough. It's a slow-moving business, slow-moving industry sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you just sit around and wait for good news. But that, in terms of my stresses about the future, that's always going to be there. Was that I went to film school, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever really going to do anything fully. Like I always told myself I'd make a movie. And that's always kind of still in the back of my head. Like, in the future, I will do that. And there's a more realistic part of me that's like, making movies is very hard and takes money. And it's probably just not going to happen. I'm kind of lazy and unmotivated. But... yeah, I want to say I'm fine with that, but it's probably always going to kind of weigh on me. Like, I never did that. Regrets. I worry that this is the biggest, like, endless, stupid circle, head eating its own tail. I worry about having regrets in the future.
Yeah.
That's stupid. That's a very stupid thing to worry about, but I do.
I think that's I think I struggle with that a little bit also. Maybe not as much, but it's definitely in the back of my mind. Every time I have to make a decision, I'm like, but am I going to regret this in the future? Better just not make a decision at all then.
You know who to consult
about? Usually the way it goes.
Who's good to consult about the future? Children.
Do you have any other lyrics you'd like to try for that song?
I believe the children are future. Take your Pepto-Bismol, kiddos. They've got acid reflux.
Yeah.
Acid reflux, diarrhea, upset tummy. Fuck.
Those were in the wrong order.
Sesame seed bun. Partridge in a pear tree.
Okay.
All the lists.
Let me list a bunch of places you can listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
You can listen to it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pocket Casts, howdowehuman.com. Anywhere that you get your podcasts, you can find us. It might take you a little while, but you can find us.
You can do it.
We've left you all the clues, Mr. Police.
Listen to our podcast, Mr. Police.
You can rate and review and leave comments, anything that you can do to engage with our podcast on those platforms. Please do it.
You should.
It would make us so happy.
You want us to be happy.
Don't you want us to be happy? You can also check us out on social media. Let's list some of those platforms.
Wow.
Instagram at How Do We Human.
We got that handle.
Even though we talked a bunch of shit earlier about the CEO, you can find us on Twitter right now at How Do We Human Pod.
Oh, we tweet those tweets.
You can check us out on Facebook for another CEO with questionable decision making, but mostly stays out of the limelight. Facebook at How Do We Human.
I don't think you're ready for that handle.
And I don't even know who's in charge of Gmail, but you can send us an email to our address at howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
The best part of that handle is that it's an address.
Beautiful.
That wasn't me. That was the Children.
The new Whitney Houston. Oh, okay.
The Children.
Never mind then.
Featuring Future.
Oh, they time traveled.
Yeah,
Evan.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you'd like to plug?
I do.
Is it finally time for Yoda's cancel culture?
Kids can't take a joke anymore. Do not. Do not cancel me. There is no try. Yeah, that's it. Do or do not cancel me. There's no try. That's good.
Racist I cannot be. One of my Mace Windu. One of my best friends. He is.
Kermie.
Yeah, any other puppets getting canceled you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah, they're all getting canceled. It's my Miss Piggy.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
You wanted to plug something?
I would love to plug something. I was watching TV the other day, and a perfume commercial / cologne commercial came on for Giorgio Armani.
Oh.
The man makes sense. The man who makes us all smell. That's his legacy. At the end of this commercial, it mentioned only in writing. So I think it's probably one of those things that's been going on for a second, and I've never seen it because I don't see a lot of commercials anymore, just when I'm watching football, pretty much. It said that the bottles are refillable perfume and cologne bottles. I was like, hot damn. I'd not heard about this. That's an interesting thought. I looked into it, and they're like, yeah, it's such a rarity, an actual sustainable thing, like, to help the environment a teeny tiny bit. You can refill these, and we're making a tiny bit less money, but we're making less product. We're making less glass and plastic. It's my Nick Nolte. I think it's coming along. I was a reputable actor once. Anyways, that got me thinking. What about like a soda fountain?
Okay.
With different perfumes and colognes in them.
Okay.
Spray out. You could fill your own bottle with them. Or use the spray attachment and just give yourself spray. Costs a little bit extra money to do that. But would you, if you're going in for a job interview, but you're a little early, you go and you grab lunch at McDonald's. There's a perfume and cologne spritzer.
Oh, so they like have them at like restaurants.
It's the only place that can legally get soda fountain streams is restaurants like McDonald's, fast food places. And you're like, oh, fuck, I stink.
Right.
Would you get yourself a spritz of some Burberry or some Giorgio Armani for $2?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
It's tough because, like, here's my big fear. Is I love the smell of a McDonald's, and they got the fries and the burgers and stuff. It's like, kind of just want to smell like McDonald's.
Yeah, that can get you far in the world.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's got something. I don't know what it is,
but I'm loving it.
but I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You're hired. Your job interview was at McDonald's. Anyways, that's my general idea. I think Scuba's got legs. I think there's something there. I think it'd be nice if everyone could get a little spritz for a couple of bucks. Chris,
spritz for bucks. Yeah.
Doing what you are.
Yeah, let's talk about making money. Okay? Because I don't know if you've noticed, we talked about it in our Oscars live stream, when, you know, one of like the foreign language films was like Pinocchio or something, and we were like, fuck, they're still making Pinocchio movies?
They're making so many Pinocchio movies.
In just this year alone, there have been at least 3 Pinocchio movies. And it's awkward because I have finished work on my Pinocchio movie.
Oh no.
And you know, I want to, you know, be crowned, you know, king of the Pinocchios.
King Pinocchio.
And so we've got to get it out this year in order to be directly compared to those other 3.
Yeah.
And look, I know that you know, some of the animation in those other movies probably took a really long time.
Yeah.
But I've been working on this film even longer. I mean, this has been over a decade. We've been just plugging away at this Pinocchio movie. So we're still tinkering with the effects a little bit. We're gonna release it on New Year's Eve just to get right under the wire. So I hope that everybody goes out to the theater and they check out Pinocchio: The Way of the Water.
Yeah, perfect. I think being the 7th Pinocchio to come out in recent times, not as glorious, but you'd only be the 2nd movie called The Way of Water coming out.
That's true. Yeah,
this past month, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, and we were shooting it, you know, concurrently with James Cameron. Like we could only shoot when he was like taking a break, or they had gone home for the day. That's sense. When we could get in there and shoot. So that's why it took us, 13 years, the same way that it took them.
And so this was 13
years for a sequel.
Natural, like you had access to the giant water tank, and you're like, what goes in water? Wood.
Yeah.
A wooden boy.
We needed the big whale scene, of course. So we had access to the giant water tank. I do want to be clear that, you know, even though there have been 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 Pinocchios in the last couple of years, much like all of those other ones, ours follows the same beats as well. So there's very little, if anything, new story-wise about this Pinocchio.
Cool.
But we used Avatar effects, so that seems like it should make us the greatest film of all time.
Yeah, I think you've done it. That's good, because we need someone to make the perfect Pinocchio.
Yeah,
so that we can stop making Pinocchio.
Yeah.
We
need the definitive Pinocchio.
I still think the definitive Pinocchio is Pinocchio Emperor of the Night, the terrifying, weird 90s cartoon I watched when I was a kid. That haunts me to this day. Which also begs the question, is there a Pinocchio bracket? Are there enough Pinocchios?
Oh, that's a good question.
Might be.
Haven't done a bracket in a while.
And the only thing that gives me pause about that is feeling like I would have to watch all of the Pinocchios, which that's a tall order.
Sure is. A lot of them are not very good.
Damn. I haven't seen any recent Pinocchios. That's all I've got to say about that. Partially because Pinocchio.
Partially because
Partially because Pinocchio. You scare me as a child. You're a scary movie. You're a scary boy, Pinocchio. Cast me as Geppetto, please, in Pinocchio: The Way of Water.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
We can. I think we've got enough time to get that done before it comes out on New Year's Eve.
Pretty good at snorkeling. I'd also like to add. Sorry you were offended, I am.
So you were offended, I am? Is that what the sentence was?
Sorry you were offended, I am. I'm sorry you were offended.
I see now. I apologize.
My jokes? They're on cutting edge.
Okay.
Bye.
See you in 2023.
Goodbye.
Cowabunga.
Totally.
And with your spirit.
Yes.